Welcome to lesson 2.3, solve two-step equations. So this is just like the last lesson, except now instead of only solving everything in one step, it's now going to take 2 steps for us to get to the end. The other thing to pay attention when you're solving two-step equations is we end up working sort of in a reverse order of operations type framework. So we actually end up worrying about addition and subtraction first and moving those to the other side before we can tackle our multiplication or division. How I always liked thinking about it was I like getting rid of sort of the outside extremity stuff of our equation first before I get to the meat and potatoes that are right there by the x. So for this x divided by 2 plus 5, we can subtract 5 from both sides first. Whether you're thinking reverse order of operations or that plus 5 just sort of seems to just be added onto the x part. And it's just sort of out there. It's not all that close to the x. We'll get rid of that part first. What's left then will be an x divided by 2 equals 6. Now I can get rid of that divided by 2 by multiplying both sides by 2, which will leave us an x equals 12. Now this next one, we actually have to combine our like terms first, because 7x minus 4x, well, we can combine that together because say you have 7 apples minus 4 apples, you'll be left with 3 apples. So we'll actually have 3x equals 21, and we can divide both sides by 3 to come up with x has to equal 7. Ooh, okay. Now we have to convert from English words to math notation. So the output of a function, and if you remember from back in chapter 1, the output is the same as your y. So y is, so output means y, is means equals. If you hear 3 less than 5 or 3 less than 20, that's actually flipping the order around. So it would actually be 20 minus 3, or in this case, 5 minus 3. So we have to toss a minus 3 here on the end because that's the 3 less than part. And then it's 5 times the input. Well, 5 times the input is x. So that would actually be 5 times x minus 3. We now have our equation. So now we want to try to find the input when the output is 17. So if we have 17 equals 5x minus 3, we can add 3 to both sides, which will get us a 20 equals 5x. And now we can divide both sides by 5 to get x by itself. So x has to equal 4. And let's look at the final question here. Again, this is another word problem from your book. So let me just go back and read it quick. As a scuba diver descends into deeper water, the pressure of the water on the diver's body steadily increases. The pressure at the surface of the water is 2,117 pounds per foot squared, or per square foot. The pressure increases at a rate of 64 pounds per square foot for each foot the diver descends. Find the depth at which a diver experiences a pressure of 8,517 pounds per square foot. Well, so we know that our starting pressure is going to be at 2,117 pounds per square foot. And that's going to increase by 64 pounds per square foot for each foot that we descend. So let's say we call the number of feet we descend d for the amount that we descend. Well, we want to know, when does this equal 8,517 pounds per square foot of pressure? Well, now we have an equation that we can solve. So our first step is we would have to subtract that 2,117 from each side, which would leave us a 64d on this side and 6,400 on this side. Now we can divide both sides by 64 to find out what does d equal, and in this case, d equals 100. So 100 feet below the surface, we would have that much pressure on the scuba diver. So that's it for today. As always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and otherwise, good luck.